South Africa has faced two major cybersecurity breaches this year, costing the nation millions of rands in losses. Over and above that, exposing South Africa's weaknesses regarding cybersecurity and the growing global tech skills shortage when addressing these skills. Manager at Mancosa School of Information and Digital Technology, Trisha Govender, joins us now to look into what it will take to address the country's tech skills shortage. Thank you so much for your time. Trisha, now how much risk does a tech skills shortage place on South Africa's economy?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. And I think the tech skills shortage, when you look at it in terms of a cybersecurity risk, it could have catastrophic effects on our economy. If you look at even the attack on the Department of Public Infrastructure and Public Works, you'll see that over a period of 10 years, 300 million was stolen and not detected until the end of 10 years. And most recently, in May, a further 24 million rand was stolen. So this obviously can have crippling effects for our economy. That was money that could have been used for our citizens and
Yeah.
to upgrade our infrastructure, but that's money that's now missing.
And is this a global skills shortage? And if it is, does it even make South Africa even more vulnerable because we tend to fall behind the rest of the world, and particularly the developed world?
Absolutely, 100%. It is a global skills shortage, but if you compare us with developed nations like the US or Germany, who are aggressively investing in such training infrastructure, we are definitely behind as a developing country.
Yeah.
So it does put us in a more vulnerable position with our economy.
Are we actually intentional about the investment that we are making as a country into, the tech skills? And also just there, I mean, where should it come in terms of the skills development life cycle of an individual?
So I think when we look at tech skills, maybe there's two things to address. One is we shouldn't look at just addressing it from the perspective of ensuring that our cybersecurity professionals are up to date with the
Yeah.
tax. We also need to ensure that everyone that uses the internet needs to know about cybersecurity to prevent themselves, right? Because we're protecting our entire citizens in this digital economy. So that's one. So upskilling or even skills for individuals need to start at a very early age, since even kids are using the internet compared to maybe 20, 30 years ago. The second one to that is to ensure that higher education, those that are studying cybersecurity, are ensuring that they're staying up to date with the latest trends in cybersecurity in terms of cyber attacks and sophistication of threats. So this will ensure that the professionals that we are adding to the market are not just qualified on paper, but have the relevant skills to handle sophisticated attacks in industry, because we're not just short in numbers, we're also short in terms of the depth of skills required by our professionals.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of innovation going on in the world, and also the advent of AI and the advancement thereof. I mean, is the pace of tech advancement not always going to be running ahead of, skills that should actually be there?
This is true. Tech is continuously advancing, right? And I think you'll never you'll never learn the tech before it comes out, and the rate at which it's advancing is in fact rapid. But tech can be used in terms of cybersecurity because it can help you in advanced threat detection. For example, if we were running AI systems that could predict possible threats, we might have discovered the public works threat much earlier than 10 years. So we need to look at AI as a way to not so much for us to know every tech stack that is out there, but how can we use what tech stacks that are present to advance our cyber threat detection, incident response management, data governance, and how we'll protect our interconnected systems.
And Trisha, just as you're talking about a global tech skills shortage, is the shortage also in South Africa also not an indication of a hemorrhaging of skills where people leave the country for better prospects in the rest of the world after getting qualified?
So I think that's definitely one of the things to consider. A brain drain is definitely one of the things that leads to a lack of skills in the sector. But also we have to look at, is supply actually meeting demand?
Yeah.
Because just as we are living in this increasingly digitalized world or increasingly digitalized country even, the amount of supply does not meet the amount of demand when it comes to cybersecurity professionals. But brain drain is definitely one of them.
And indeed, who really needs to take a big role here in terms of this tech skills development drive? Should it be a collaboration between the government or the private sector? How should that look like?
I think it's definitely a collaboration that's needed between higher education, government, and the private sector. So industry needs to come together with the government, with higher education, and see how we can advance the skills of our existing professionals and those of the up and coming graduates and young professionals coming into the cybersecurity industry.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Trisha. That was Trisha Govender, manager at Mancosa School of Information and Digital Technology.